yes, it does help if one turns on the microphone. That is generally how that style of technology works. So hi everyone, I am Rose Regina. I am the Digital Security Manager at OpenArchive. And welcome to our talk. Just to give you a little bit of an introduction, OpenArchive, we do a bunch of different things, and our main thing is helping various groups manage evidentiary media archives and producing resilient records for memory, accountability, and justice. We do a whole bunch of research. We do trainings for a few different kinds of stakeholders. We write expert guides with regards to best practices, especially as it relates to decentralized archivist communities. And we've made a tool called Save, and that is a large part of why I am here. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of us and Save so that you understand the context that we built a DWeb backend for our software. So our approach is based in an approach of human rights-centered design, which is a methodology developed by the co-founder, Natalie Cadranel, and it's a way of making sure that when we do an iterative design process that we are really taking into account the needs of the communities we're working with, and where our engagement with risk assessment and threat analysis begins even before the partnership starts. So when we're talking about our needs, or the needs of the groups that we're working with, we're looking at risks and goals, the capacity of the organizations, and also just the technology, both in terms of Save and what we bring, but also what the communities we're working with have access to start with. So our decentralized archivist community program, this is where we're actually working with folks on the ground who are doing interesting things with regard to documenting and then retaining that documentation. We've worked with organizations in Eastern Europe, North America, the Swana region, and Latin America. And we've put a really, really strong emphasis on conducting co-research and co-design, and having an ongoing back and forth communication between us as kind of the facilitating organization, the communities we're working with, and then the developers that we have partnered with. And just for anyone in this room who's a little bit more interested in what we found in our work with these communities, or if you are part of one of these communities yourself and you'd like to learn a little bit more about other groups that are similarly situated, we've done research. You can scan the QR code to get to the research summary. One of the big things we've looked at is what kinds of risks the communities are reporting and mentioning back to us. All right, so Save, this is the app that I mentioned. Save, it stands for Secure, Archive, Verify, Encrypt, because everyone loves an acronym. It's been, to a large extent, decentralized by design from the beginning. And this means that we have always included multiple options. We have a nice interface. It is mobile only, because what we found when we were talking with these communities is that's the technology that they have in their hands. That is the technology that they are using. And if we design mobile second, then we are selling short our actual user base, and we are just kind of going through an exercise that isn't really reflective of reality. And so we started initially with the private server, meaning basically using anything that's web dev compatible. Mainly, in reality, this ends up being Nextcloud at this point, but also having the option of uploading things directly to the Internet Archive for DACs who are positioned such that the objects that they are archiving, they feel comfortable having publicly available, and being able to rely on the infrastructure that the Internet Archive provides, which has built in a whole bunch of reliability aspects that removes the burden from the community groups. But what we've just recently added is a dweb server. And that has been very exciting, very cool, but also a little tricky, as I'm sure anyone who has worked with that kind of technology here has personally experienced all of the joys and excitements and frustrations of. And we did this like in terms of what kind of tech we're using. I know when I've spoken with people a whole bunch, they've asked about specific protocols, and so we are specifically using Valid and Eero. And Valid is a really neat project that is kind of came out of Cult of the Dead Cow. For anyone else who is also an old, you may have fond memories just at the mention of their name. But the way that they describe Valid is that it's sort of the like love child of Tor and IPFS, and we've chosen to go with it for a whole variety of reasons. We did a massive analysis, and we found that it provided us the security and privacy, as well as not so much usability for the end user, but usability for the developers, so that we have a shot at making a truly usable and maintainable platform. And this chart is inside of our white paper if you want more details on that. And here's a lovely diagram of the dweb implementation. We are rather short on time, so I'm going to not describe it, but again, you can look it up. And you can read all of the details in our white paper that's accessible via the QR code, or if you share my hesitation at scanning random QR codes, there's the URL down at the bottom. If all of this sounds absolutely fascinating to you, you are welcome to join us as a beta tester. This QR code does not match the GitHub URL. This QR code will take you to a Google Drive folder that includes the APK that is currently in beta/pre-beta, a demo and a user guide specifically for that part. But if what you're interested in is more the code aspect, then go check out our GitHub down there. So we're really excited about the dweb backend. It still has a little bit more work before it's like really ready for prime time, but we have other things that we are super excited about, including further language localization, and especially we are going to be putting out more guides in Spanish, Ukrainian, and Arabic in particular. And we're going to be doing more workshops and collecting more feedback. So if any of this interests you, then please get in touch with us. We would love to hear from you. We would love to get your feedback. We would love for you to go take a look at our code. And unfortunately, I am, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, I'm on another panel in just a few minutes, so we're not going to have time for Q&A entirely, but if you come find me after that panel, or if you get in touch with us through any of the socials, or like I said, if you are like me and old, feel free to email us. We do actually check email. I know it's a little nostalgic at this point, but we'd really love to hear from you. And yeah, and thank you for attending this very, very brief talk. And come hit me up for stickers as well. Our stickers are shiny. And thank you to all of the organizers. Thank you to Web3 Privacy, and thank you to all of you who have taken the time to listen to our little adventure in DWeb.